The Book of Judges opens on a landscape of failed conquests and fractured tribes, where the absence of a central leader created a volatile power vacuum. This volatility stems from a systemic failure. The Israelites chose to assimilate into the culture of the Canaanite tribes they were meant to displace, leading to a breakdown of their own social and religious order. This assimilation introduced belief systems that specifically subverted the covenant relationship between Israel and God, replacing it with the worship of local deities. This produced a predictable mechanical loop: covenant, compromise, captivity, a cry for help, and finally the arrival of a deliverer. When the Israelites compromise their covenants, they forfeit the divine protection that defines their nation, leaving them physically exposed. But when the people cry out, the Lord raises up a military leader, a judge, to break the physical captivity. Each turn of this cycle proves that physical bondage is the inevitable result of spiritual compromise, yet it also demonstrates God's persistent willingness to initiate a rescue. We often assume that individuals called by God to deliver Israel must be paragons of personal virtue. This leads to a difficult question. How do we reconcile the holiness of God with His deliberate choice to use violent, deeply flawed, and often covenant-breaking individuals as His instruments? This chart graphs biblical figures on a comparative axis. The vertical axis measures moral perfection, and the horizontal axis measures divine utility. Prophetic figures like Moses or Enoch plot cleanly in the top right quadrant. The judges scramble this map. Samson scores high on divine utility, but shockingly low on moral perfection. Deborah, conversely, charts high on both metrics. God uses the flawed tools available to him to prove a specific point. The deliverance comes from divine power, not human excellence. The Book of Judges is a rigorous comparative study. It demonstrates exactly how covenantal fidelity, or the lack thereof, dictates a leader's true spiritual capacity. By Judges chapter 4, the Israelites faced a vastly superior, technologically advanced Canaanite military force. They were entirely paralyzed by fear. Deborah enters the narrative here. Her primary qualification was not military strategy. She was a prophetess, operating with absolute covenant certainty. When the reluctant General Barak hesitated, Deborah asked him a direct question: "Is not the Lord gone out before thee?" This established the theological weight of the entire campaign. We can visualize this certainty as a measurable force within a community. Her personal tether to God allowed her to transfer operational courage directly to a paralyzed military leader. Barak's awakened faith then mobilized the rest of the Israelite army. The confidence cascaded. Deborah represents the upward vector of deliverance. When one individual maintains strict covenant fidelity, their personal faith acts as a catalyst that elevates the entire collective. We see a similar rule in the story of Gideon in chapter 7. God actively separates human capability from divine results. Gideon gathered a massive Israelite army here, at the spring of Herod, seemingly preparing for a standard military confrontation. Then, the Lord issued a counterintuitive command: reduce the size of the army. Using a specific physical test involving how the men drank from the spring, the ranks were culled down to just 300 soldiers. The Lord provided His exact reasoning. If the army was too large, Israel would claim they delivered themselves by their own strength. The Gideon variable proves the core equation of the Judges. The Lord executes massive miracles, but only when the human instrument entirely trusts in His unlikely methods, stripping away all pride. This brings us to the tragic paradox of Samson in chapters 13 through 16. He possessed massive divine potential, coupled with deeply flawed character traits. His physical strength was not a genetic trait. It was the direct, mechanical result of strict Nazirite covenants. Sister Ann M. Dibb noted a specific scriptural pattern regarding Samson's life choices. The text repeatedly uses the phrase, "he went down." This chart tracks Samson's life as a systemic decay of spiritual power, driven by a series of micro-compromises. Step 1 occurs when he pursues relationships based entirely on what pleaseth him well, ignoring covenant boundaries. Next, he maintains repeated proximity to Philistine culture, flirting with the edges of his vows without fully breaking them at first. The loss of Samson's hair served as the final physical breach of a spiritual foundation that had already crumbled through micro-compromises. Internal choice had already severed the source of his strength. In the end, Samson achieved a brutal physical victory in his death, but he entirely failed to reach his potential as a lasting deliverer. Samson represents the downward isolating vector. Spiritual and physical power are load-bearing mechanics strictly tethered to covenants. Worldly compromise systematically dismantles these connections piece by piece. These dual trajectories of Deborah and Samson summarize the overarching lesson of the era. These earthly judges, whether righteous or flawed, were only temporary fixes to the systemic problem of human sin. The entire repeating cycle of the judges serves to point us toward the flawless deliverer of Israel, Jesus Christ. No matter how many times we fall into our own cycles of compromise, Christ is the permanent Redeemer. He is always willing to deliver us when we cry out to Him. The cultural gravity of the ancient Canaanites mirrors the intense societal pressures surrounding believers today. We must evaluate our current spiritual vector. Are we making decisions based on what pleaseth us well? Allowing the world to incrementally snap our covenant tethers inevitably leads to spiritual isolation. Instead, we can emulate Deborah's strict covenant confidence in our modern environment. When we hold faithfully to our covenants, our personal spiritual survival becomes a catalytic power, capable of inspiring deliverance in everyone around us.